So yeah, just quickly introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about you.
So, hi, I'm Samyuktha. I'm both a modeling and texturing artist, but I have worked around this industry for 3 years since, and I've worked in different games and focused on both prop modeling and environment modeling. So yeah, it's just I haven't prepared for it. So
Yeah, don't worry. It's completely fine. Just a short introduction. It's cool. So you said that you're into props, but also material, but also environment. So you're basically a jack of all trades, right?
But my focus is entirely on material and texturing because that is like kind of it is what do we call like a nature's call. Like it without stressing, I can easily be good at texturing and in creating materials. But whereas if it comes with a prop and everything, I had to do some kind of practice. I have to do lots of practice to be at this level right now I am. But whereas for material, if you could, I'll just add another material in my portfolio so that you'll know what I'm saying actually. So
yeah, okay. Then I suppose I should mainly focus on the material anyway, right?
Yeah. Yes. So about you can focus on the material and the prop texturing that I already have. So the material that now I have added to the portfolio is a concrete floor. So this is the first material that I've created. So it should be about I think an year ago or about 6 months ago. So that's when I first started into substance designer. I already have a good knowledge about substance paint. That's when I started substance designer. So yeah, starting substance designer, I realized, okay, I wanted to be a material artist, and since I can already do props and UV wrapping everything. So I focus on getting into environment position and material artist position. So anything, if it is material artist, it is far good. If it is environment artist, it is also good.
Okay, I can see. Just a question out of curiosity in advance. Like working for the Orbifold Studios and working on Half-Life RTX, I had this fiction in mind that this project has been like closed or finished like years ago already. And now I see that you're like contributing to it. Like, how did it get to that point? Like, how's the work?
I'm not sure they have completed the production yet because after this material, I've also been assigned another material too. So I'm not quite sure about that. But yeah, working for Orbifold Studio is like it's same as any other studios, but since it is a volunteer project and they are like very considerate about how artists spend their time. They don't like they are very considerate about how artists spend their time or allocate their time doing this work, and they are like very open when giving the feedbacks, and they are very helpful because when receiving a feedback, you would think like, okay, where we are wrong, we should have a better understanding, right? So they are very, very good at giving feedbacks, and I like when I was working with them, I felt very good, very comfortable working with them.
That sounds very cool, I gotta say.
Yes. And I was able to meet lots of artists in there. So yeah, it was a very good networking also.
Oh yeah, I can see that, of course. And I suppose it just makes a lot of fun. Like if the feedback sessions are good, if your colleagues are eager to help each other, this is actually where like working makes a lot of fun, because actually you're just turning your passion into spending time on something that you're actually getting paid for as well. So this is like winning in the lottery. It's really cool. Happy for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so in that case, let's just quickly like let's turn back a little bit, because when I'm visiting your profile here or your portfolio, one thing that immediately was confusing me, but it's at the same time cool to look at, is your headline. Like, I have no idea what I'm looking at your banner. And I gotta say that usually, like, if you take a closer look and if you spend some time, this looks actually really artistic. Like, it's a cool thing to look at. Usually, however, when I visit portfolios that are, like, I would say from people that are more new to that environment, or are generally unsure how to build a portfolio, they put just something in the banner. You can immediately see that it's not in sync with the rest of their artworks. And the first thing that came into my mind when I joined your portfolio was exactly this feeling. So I would love to know what I'm seeing here, but generally, this is the first thing that I would personally critique when I'm visiting your portfolio, because it's just like the first impression, even though we are not looking at something bad per se. It's just the first impression.
Okay. So this is an Unreal environment that I did when I was working at Technicolor Games. So there we had an assignment, or we had like you can say a colleague to colleague competition or something. So it's like a community activity. So I wanted to show my Unreal knowledge. So that's when I created this one. So this is like going into my cultural background. So this is digging or diving deep into my culture. So
Really cool. But why are you not showing like the full project with that?
Because that is an old project, and it has lots of artifacts. Just this image is this image, since it is cropped out, it looks good. But whereas I have shared I have plenty of renders over here. But yeah, that has lots and lots of artifacts when I'm seeing now. So I didn't wanted to include that in my portfolio. I can publish it now for you to look.
We can have a look if you want, sure. But just speaking about like the overall presence of your portfolio, again, you should take your time to like really perfection every little bit of it. Because also you have like a few examples of work, which is fine. Like I'm valuing quality over quantity anytime. But the general amount of color that we're seeing here is like not reflected in your portfolio. So we just have a visual mismatch, and you should somehow get that sorted. Like either show the project, or if you think it's not of quality enough to put in your portfolio, which is fair, think of maybe just changing the banner overall. I know from a cultural point of view, I don't want to say like get rid of that because of that. Maybe you can substitute it, but be aware that the amount of red and yellow tones is like 70% of your whole portfolio. So it naturally draws attention away. And it has nothing to do exceptionally with what you're presenting. Okay?
Okay. Yes, okay.
All right. Other than that, it's actually cool to see that you have very few projects and they all like display one of your skill sets, because as soon as I see the Unreal Engine logo, I just assume it's either a shader, some VFX, or an environment. So I have an idea of that, and I can see like the environment art is reflected in your portfolio. I definitely see props and texturing, and then we have materials. Like usually you don't want to have like that crazy of a mix, but given that you're like fairly new still in the industry, and also your skill sets are quite mixed and presented well together, this is a good start. Because depending on where you would apply, some portions of material art can transition to environment, while some of environment can transition to level, and so on. So being able to showcase all this is generally a really good thing. And I will now dive into this one. I'm very interested in what I'm seeing here. So let me quickly read this here. From a clumsy concept. Okay, that's cool. Let's go. Working from concepts to full scene, full environments is actually something I never did. So I always feel like it's cool when people achieve that. This is looking nice.
It's just like
Oh, we actually have like luminescent like cables flowing. Okay, this is really cool.
Yeah. But back then I didn't share the breakdown, but I wish I should have shared the breakdown because I'm not sure whether I have this project with me to share the breakdown now. But yeah, everything that you're seeing here, I did everything from scratch, like including the spline, the visual effects that you're seeing in the spline, and the portal, and every VFX you're seeing here. Everything is done by me from scratch, but I don't have the technical background.
That's too bad.
And I don't.
For something like this, which is like the whole project is quite narrow, right? Sorry if there's some pop-ups in between. My camera is flickering. But
yes.
What I wanted to say is like the whole environment is quite narrow. So it's focused down on several aspects that you manage to do, which are mostly shader related, which is like really cool. But for this kind of projects, we need a breakdown. Like it's crucial to have this because fairly or truthfully spoken, like the visual quality and like the coherence of everything that you put in the scene isn't very well done, but the individual pieces are exceptionally good. And I would be very interested in how you achieve that because the technical aspect here is much more valuable than the visual aspect. Right. So basically, there's nothing more to say to it. If you had a breakdown or if you can manage to somehow explain what you did here, this would be really good because right now this artwork is more or less lacking this. Also, to be fair, those screenshots are not beneficial. Actually, just the video would probably even be better. Because the environment just works when everything is in motion, right?
Yeah, yes, yeah. I'll try to find the project and I'll try to include the technical background here. So what to give a general idea. So yeah, this entire project I didn't like plan to do much prop modeling or texturing here because the stones that you're seeing or the gem that you're seeing, it is just a single gem, like 2 variation or 3 variation of gem that is distributed over here, and the stone that you are seeing also is just a stone, one single stone that I rotated and kept it over here.
Yeah, that.
And as for the path also, yeah, I didn't do much much modeling over here. And for the water shader, so I used a distance node inside Unreal Engine to create that. You can see there's that like water flowing up, right? Yeah, I created a shader to create the destruction or to create that the water is not simply flowing through the rock. It is creating some kind of disturbance since there is a rock in the water. So yeah, apart from that, yeah, I also played with Niagara because everything you're seeing here, it is entirely full usage of Niagara from the curve and the portal. It is lots and lots of usage with Niagara.
Interesting.
That is like, yeah, that is what a general overview. But to dive more into a technical background, I think I would have to see that because it is already 2 years ago, and I have see it for myself.
Yeah, sure. Like, don't feel stressed about it. But we have to like value our CEO portfolio as a whole. And while this project sparked a lot of interest right now, even though I didn't look into the others, I know most of them actually. But even without looking into the others, right now this is not specifically benefiting you. I mean, you could theoretically write a bit more about what you just told me in the description. That would help already, because the effects to see generally is really cool. But you need to make sure that whoever is seeing this doesn't value this artwork as part of your environment skill set. Because what you described me is like a purely technical kit bash of like the most bare bone stuff you needed to actually create this really cool effects. And you need to make sure that whoever is watching this also knows about this, right?
Yep.
So that being said, reconsider this project to maybe even transfer this to a blog, but not specifically have it in your portfolio. If, like, I'm always saying this, if you're working for more freelance work, if you're working for hiring, and it's specifically like for environment, for example, because this would fall on your feet. All right, let's see the clay pot. So very good that you have the reflection spheres up here. If you're going that far, you could also include the X, right? But I mean, this is already rarely seen, so it's cool to have it. Because it shows, like, from a like higher technical point of view, as a material artist, I know what these are good for and why they should be used when balancing out colors and textures in a scene. Also to do proper lighting. So that you include these shows me that you have like an idea of why they are in there, because you wouldn't make up the time and the effort to always have them in the screen if they didn't have any use, right?
Yes, because even to include this in Mama setup wasn't a headache, to be frank, because
oh yeah,
I can
assume that. Oh, you got videos here as well. That's really cool. Yeah, so turntables are good all the time. Oh yeah, I can see the spheres here. They're actually physically there, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but like things like this, don't worry about it. Like you found a way to hack around this to make it possible. So that's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, wireframes also very nice. I mean, for an asset simple as this, like I wouldn't expect it to be included just because I expect it to be low res anyway. But still, it's fine. Some reference is always really good to see what you worked from and how good you transitioned it. Yeah, I mean, it's really solid. I kind of miss the UV layout, or actually to see the UVs. Like spherical shapes tend to include stretching and warping at any point. And you mostly only get rid of that by including more geometry. At least not get rid of it, but you can hide it very well the more geometry you use.
Yes, well.
So it would be great to see how you manage to like have this consistently across different LODs, you know?
Or please I will start. I have this project I like because this the UVs, regarding the UVs, it was not a much it's not a much workout, because I hide the UV seam behind that neck that you're seeing, right? So under the neck. And as for this entire body, I just made it as made a UV and straightened out, because this sphere, if you're not straightening out it, when you're using a turntable or turn around, it won't look, it might stretch out and add some weird distortion. So I just straightened out so that everything we are seeing have an even shape. And I just hit the scenes in the like near remote area where the seams won't be much visible. So I hit the seams under on that area. But yeah, I'll add the UVs.
Yeah, but really good. Like in terms of like prop artists, this is like exactly the skill set that you want to see. Like at least for a junior should be able to do this. Going so far with like quite good texturing, good UVs, actual presentation in the scene. It's nice. It's nice. It's good to have. Another clay pot set, however, I know it's rendered differently, but generally you did the same with a different mesh, right?
Yeah,
it's quite a lot, right?
Yeah. So I created a smart material, and I added some more patterns in it to create a variation, because you can see this pot has a lot of patterns and a lot of shapes in there. So I created and added more patterns. Like I did the patterns in Illustrator and took those here and created a procedural pattern output in Substance Creator. Yeah, it is to like given it is kind of, I use the same material but not exactly same, because that pot would have a different texture and that has a lot of details compared to the one that you are seeing right now. So that's not quite it, but yeah, it is somewhat.
I see. Yeah.
I can say something like that.
I was a bit too fast in my reflection here. This is actually, and also that you have like a 20-minute video showing how you use your smart material is great. Like this is really great. This is the kind of stuff I want to see, because this is basically, you're basically doing like an art test right now. Okay, I can see your workflow. I can see how you layer stuff. This is exceptionally well done. And also can see your UVs. It's nice. It's nice. Like I'm not going to look through all this video, but generally speaking, this is also a great resource for anyone who wants to learn what you did there. Because what makes this piece really good is that even though it's like simple shapes, you like put it into a higher level by introducing like a smart material and also like various shapes that needs to work with that material. And you showed your workflow. One thing that I would critique is the wireframe renders. Like it's good to have them in here. I always want to have them in here, but I'm scrolling over hundreds of pots, you know, which are kind of sharing the same, hopefully sharing the same textile density and the same geometry. So take one screenshot where they are all inside. Like save us some time, because all we really care about in the end is that video, you know?
Okay, yeah, sure.
And I feel like in this render, I don't know what it is, but it feels like they are floating. It might be due to the very low contrast in color from your backplate. Yeah, they feel like they're floating. I don't know. They feel a little detached. It's flat. Like the textures are great. The light generally, like the feeling is great, but in conjunction with that backplate you have there, it's not working too well. Can you see that?
Yes. Yeah. At the front, the pots that are size different, right? Just kind of looking at floating. Yeah, I can understand that. Yes.
Yeah, like
not sure why it is floating. Yeah, I'll.
Oh, where's that screen right now? Here, like that plate. Even though, and like these three here, they actually just look like a PNG that you put on there. Like they don't feel taking part in that scene.
I see. I'm looking, but must be the shadows. I'll take a look at that.
Yeah, easy fix. I'm nitpicking at this point because what I see here is really good. So don't get me wrong here. Right, so let's have a look at these ones. I think I remember this now from that perspective, right? I can remember that that initially the materials you showcased here, I was like not happy with. Like they were not distinguishable. And
Yes.
I think from 1 or 2 iterations, you actually changed them to what they exactly should be, which was pretty good, I gotta say. Surprisingly fast. Oh, that's a dirty crack on the lens. Right, so I really like these close-ups as well. Like it shows where you put in the detail. And for metals and hard surface, I think it's really hard actually to make realistic or believing grunge and imperfections, just because it's so clean and easy to follow with your eyes. Like this detail here feels already so non-uniform, so like kind of abstracted, that it feels very realistic and natural. And it's quite easy for an artist to just put like a regular seam here, because mostly you're going to see it from afar, and actually you have that seam here, but this is like the micro detail. You only get to see that if you go really up close, and it makes it so hard to implement, of course, of this. I think you did a great job with that, honestly. Like your surface detail is so like varying and non-uniform that I can barely even see any repetition anywhere. I can actually not spot any repetition anywhere. I feel you went a little strong with the scratches, also in size, because like given that shape and where they are placed, I would have to ask myself, how did so many like slight scratches get like right in here, like all over that portion that should actually just hit the ground, if it hits the ground, you know? Like you have to manually scratch something in there. It's not just from regular wear. That would apply here. Also, because the scratches are dark, it's a little bit like it's giving too much contrast and too much, you could say, darker spots into that full big area. But other than that, there's nothing I could see here to critique, honestly. And it's also refreshing to see not that regular studio render. You know, like, let's quickly clone this tab. I think I actually have just have to go to the explore page, and I can show you what I mean by that. Like there's some meta for presenting stuff that is so oversaturated that you're just like, you just don't want to see it anymore. Oh, my internet is really slow right now. Yeah, so a bad example, but it's getting into the direction. Like you have like a very high exposure. Like actually some camera with a direct flash, very high overexposure, or just that studio light that has like 1,000 light sources, a cylindrical HDRI with only studio lights. Like it's always very bright and like clinical, you could say. Which is great for that purpose because it displays all the details, but you managed to get it like a warm feeling. Your renders are just warm. They're cozy to look at, which is untypical. So it's really cool. Also, that warp perspective for your thumbnail is a really good touch. It sparks interest.
That is actually the renders that you gave me some pointers regarding the renders and how to set the lights, and yeah, that pointers helped me a lot when setting the renders and setting the light, where to keep the fill light and where to keep the zoom light. That helped me a lot in deciding.
Oh, that's good to hear.
And yeah, now I'm using this work as a template to create any kind of lights that whatever work I'm doing now, I'm using this as a template now.
That's perfect. Save some time. Just 1 second. I gotta grab my cat for a second. She's crying.
Yeah, sure.
You cannot see her right now, but you're going to see her in the video. Now she's standing on my desk and making shenanigans.
Say that.
Sorry, what?
Say that hi.
Hi, Strawberry. Okay, now I want to have a look. Like I've seen this project. We've talked about this. I think this is like super well done. So I'm not going to go over this again. I'm just showing it like for that video now because it's just a very good project, and I hope people are going to catch some attention and look at it. But I think we've talked about this already, so I'm just going to pass this for a second. Excuse me one more time. She wants to go out now. Yeah, she's cute, but she can be really annoying and demanding. Sorry, what?
That's so big. Stop it.
So, this project, I think I have seen this one from basically start to finish. Like when I joined the FMA server, I think one of the first posts I saw was like a work in progress of this.
Yes, yeah.
Back then I had like I wasn't too involved to actually get a lot of feedback out because I thought Ezekiel has like his plan for you, so it was totally fine. But it was interesting to follow because it was such an unusual trim sheet to begin with, and it inhibits so many different, like, I don't know how to explain it, but the layering is so well done and so natural that initially I wasn't aware that it is a trim sheet. You know, it looked like just like one tile that you slap over a wall, and it may be somewhere exactly like that. So I didn't question it. Yeah, until I saw like the render and the breakdown, I was like, huh, that's actually a trim sheet. I didn't notice.
Yeah, my renders when I was doing the like joining the mentorship, I wanted to do this trim sheet because like I have no idea about trim sheet or materials because I was just starting out. So even though I was just starting out, I was very sure that I wanted to do the trim sheet. So when Ezekiel asked me what you want to do, I simply brought up I wanted to do a trim sheet. That's all. So yeah, this all started from there.
Yeah, it works very well. Oh, the GIF breakdown, perfect. Yeah, I mean, these are really cool to look at. Honestly, they're mostly showcasing like how well you know designer to build the stuff. Depending on the complexity of the trim sheet, one might question if it's needed to do all procedural. But anyway, if someone is able to do it, like crazy enough.
I chose to do everything procedure because I was learned. So I don't want some, but though in some of the area you might see some of the shapes that I did in Illustrator only. Most of the shape is entirely done in Designer because I wanted to know and I want to make sure that I should have the knowledge on doing everything if I want it. Yeah, if someone is asking me to do everything procedure, I should have that knowledge, right? So I made sure that I should have that.
Yeah. Yes. Like it's exactly that point. Like you also said like some shapes were done in Illustrator, and that's like completely fair because it's at some point doing things in Designer is just not feasible anymore because that tool has like its limits to what it's good for and to what it's able to iterate fast and create fast. So it's good that one characteristic of you obviously is to spot where you can save some time and push quality because that is very much asked as a soft skill inside studios. One point that you also do is actually mirroring your OVs here in the center. And it's barely to spot, and it's not even an issue. Like, even though I can see it, it's not even an issue visually. Which is also very cool that you just chose to do it like this, because most artists would actually tile this one more time and offset it, so that you probably miss the tiling. But just mirroring it is a really cool idea to create some variation. The small tricks.
So I chose this workflow because I was too lazy to do everything. This way, I was able to cut the time also, and it also saved me a lot of work. So this was like I took this decision because I was lazy. So I don't want to do much work, and I don't want to spend more time, because I wanted to showcase a material and I want to showcase good. So this way it was good, and I was able to save much time. And so it is all pros in this method. So I use this method.
Yeah, it's a very good example of like perfect execution of different media to get like that one result that you can actually build a whole environment with. So very nice. We're closing in for half an hour. I think we're a little past that. Do you have any like last question that I can address for you?
So this all the things that you are seeing in my portfolio, so there's nothing related to sci-fi. So if I am going for a sci-fi and adding it to my portfolio, would that say that I have knowledge around different aspects of creating material, or it would like stick out a different, or like you said, the last project about the one that is the first one we were talking about that, would it stick out different, or it could like just brings up the message that I have a knowledge about everything else. Right now, I have also knowledge about the science and material also.
I think that totally depends on how you want to build that project. Like, given what you have done so far, your projects are getting gradually better set up and better designed. I think, like going from right to left, we can clearly see an evolution. And depending on how you want to tackle that sci-fi element, I would say if you go for an environment and let it be like full of props, full of materials, maybe some like actual level art or environment art, as long as you can like combine all this together and make sense out of it, I don't think it would be sticking out. But if you now start to like maybe get just into the sci-fi lighting or sci-fi concept, like including another type of stuff with a new topic, that would be too much. But what you did so far is actually like unifying everything very well together. It all has a purpose, and it's all tied to either props or materials or both. So as long as you can pursue exactly this, I think it's totally fine. You want me to give another like
short brief feedback about this too?
Yeah. Okay, let me quickly pass this by. I would not include this in your portfolio. The reason being, the quality that you're providing here is not even close to what you're already showing, what you're capable of. I can't like particularly say right now why that is the case. May it be rocks, or may it be like the time given that you worked on this, but like the overall rendering, like the presenting from the camera, it's like really flat or zoomed in or cropped. The resolution seems a little bit off. It's not clear that we see rocks. It's a lot of noise. Actually, only that screenshots gives a hint on what we're seeing because of the mannequin. The shadows in here make it even more noisier. It's really distracting to look at. And if I scroll down now, because I want to know like what am I looking at, so I have the texture breakdown here. There's a lot of stuff going on in your textures that are really not living up to what you're able to do. Like every map has its own issues that I would critique. So it naturally explains why the material looks how it looks. But generally speaking, like providing that many screenshots, having that scale reference, clay render, shadow renderer, texture breakdown, videos, GIFs, like you include everything that is needed. Like the actual content, like your checkbox, this is perfect. But the project itself doesn't meet the quality criteria that you can match already.
That's all. I just wanted to know.
Okay.
Want to know about us. That's all.
I hope my feedback is not too harsh, but I'd rather give like honest, brutal feedback rather than like try to find like all the good stuff that might be hidden somewhere, you know?
No, it was not brutal, and even if it was not, even if it was brutal, it is feedback. So feedbacks are meant to be like that because you are giving feedbacks to improve. One to get improve. So it is not like that.
But anyway, thank you a lot. Hope to see you maybe in a few months again if you have something new to share. And until then, I wish you a very good evening.
Thank you so much for the review. Yeah, it was great talking to you and great to hear the reviews from you directly this time. Yeah, I have a good input.